everybody here can easily understand.
Hey everybody, how we doing? It's me, it's Lechusza, and welcome to my new podcast, my tracks for D-Day. And we're gonna get this whole thing started off. And so, thanks to In Living Color for kind of bumping me in and getting everything kind of going and whatnot. So I gave you the descriptions in my wild hair and everything. You get to see it all, right? And all the glory that it is. I gave you in the descriptions the reason that I wanted to do this. I'm going to put these glasses on so you're not seeing all that mess. Um, okay, so my Tracks for D-Day got started originally 3 years ago now. And literally, it got started because I wanted to share a bunch of the stuff that I was listening to, and I didn't have anything to write about. And I was going through some major changes in my life, and I wanted to get something going. And I had just these different platforms, and I wasn't really sure how life was going. I was just spinning my wheels. I was literally just going through the motions of just living and basically trying to survive. And so Tracks for D-Day became just a way for me to kind of share some different things. Not too much traction got onto it. You know, some people liked him, some people were kind of like, whatever. You know, this guy's just kind of flapping his jaws. As technology progressed and his life, kind of moved forward a little bit, I was able to kind of, take advantage of some different things. And then here we are now, working with the IHHBA, the Indigenous Hip Hop Business Association. I get to explore those, but and because Rich and I, we have our side project that we do. He does his wordplay for the day, and I did my tracks for D-Day. Um, and I was realizing that we do them, and then we put them together on what's become our media days. Um, but I wanted to really kind of step up the game. I wanted to take these to a different level and a whole nother level. So not that I'm going to be skirting away from these on the media day, but what I'm going to be doing with my tracks for today is that this is going to become a full-fledged podcast. So some of them will be video, some of them are going to be audio. They're going to be going back and forth. But you'll be able to kind of catch them up on the YouTube channel. I give you the link down below. You'll be able to find them on my website. I give you the link down below, and you'll be able to find them here on my Substack. And I give you the link down below. So if you want to be checking out all those things, that's going to be great. And because I want to make sure that people are involved with all these different areas and things that you can see and go to. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm really going to take advantage of it. I'm going to be playing some tracks that I'm listening to and sharing. It's going to be a lot of the different stuff that I do, but I'm also not just going to step away from it. I'm going to, because of my ones that I was doing on the media days, that's kind of what I was expected to do. Just present what I'm listening to, talk about it a little bit, and then get away from it. Here, since I'm having a chance to kind of do my podcast, and I'll see how frequently I do them. I have an idea, but I'm going to keep that in the wraps for now. I want to see how it all goes. But what I'm going to be doing is doing what I want to be doing. Be playing the tracks I'm listening to, and it's going to be all over the map, and then contextualizing and talking about it, doing a little bit of the musical background stuff. Yeah, why I like it, what's going on with it, and all that kind of stuff. But then also putting in the context of what's happening in our culture. Putting it on and why is this important today? What is it saying? Is it making a commentary about what's happening? Is it skirting away from what's going on? Is it a protest song? Is it just, or is it going along with what's happening? Is it just something that's way too popular that we have to talk about? And all that kind of stuff. And then also I want to be bringing on different people, be bringing on some different guests. I have a few people in mind that I want to be doing already, and doing some different things with that. So those will probably be definitely audio ones, because we'll have to be setting it up audio wise to get it going. But as you can see, we got some bumper music going. So again, thanks to In Living Color for the cult of personality, which I I really like it. And when you go to alanlechusza.com, you'll be able to see in the little bio link there, I give you actually 4 different tracks that kind of changed my perspective and thinking about things. And this is one of the very first steps. It was on my to-do list of things to really make sure to get done, and I was gonna start it yesterday, but hey, let's just do it now. Let's just get it going. So this is where we are. So we're on the tracks for today, And what I'm going to be doing on this one is we're going to be looking at what I'm actually be writing about for my next Pathios article. And if you go to that, it's my the sweatpants sessions. It's on pathios.com /blogs /the sweatpants sessions. And that's where I talk about faith-based and Christian works specifically, because Pathios is the largest faith-based repository for culture, criticism, and the arts in the world. And I'm a contributing writer to that. So I have a regular column, the Sweatpants Sessions, that I write about. And specifically there, I write about the intersectionalities of culture and music. But my bend and my preference is writing about, you guessed it, Christian hip hop, because I'm all about the hip hop, right? So and getting into that. So, but I've talked about different things. I've talked about, I did a movie analysis. I did some episode deconstructions. I did. A trio series of pop cultural works, and I looked at them and I reframed them. So, right, I tore apart Tori Amos. I tore apart Your Own Personal Jesus. I got into that one. And then the Bohemian, yeah, what was it? Oh, I forgot. I was it just the Bohemians. No, I did one on their work, and I looked at Little Sheldon. I did a house. I did a bunch of different things. I was going to tear apart Friends, but I kind of let that one go. So but it's. And I did a whole thing on Christian tattooing. I did a whole thing on Christian fashion. It's because the patio sites, that's the band, right? So it's got to have that kind of background and place and purpose with it, which is totally cool. Because for me, writing about Christian hip hop specifically, is that the discourse has been all over the map. So what I did is I actually contextualized and framed and came up with the foundations of what is Christian hip hop, and how to use it and make it and frame it. And so my works come out from there. Oh, I did a thing on Ozzy. I did a thing when the Pope got appointed, the new Pope. Even though I'm not Catholic, but I did one on him. Um, I've done them on like all kinds of different things that are up there, and the readership there is up to 3,000 people. So you're going to want to get to it. It's free. It's 100% free. Just search pathios.com, and you can go to the sweatpants sessions, or you can look up my name and it'll pop up as well. If you go to my website, alanlechusza.com, there's a link straight to it as well, so you can get to it from there. And I'll make sure that I drop it in the notes down below, so you can get that. You can get that also. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I'll put a link to this Substack article in the notes, so that way you're able to kind of come back and see all of this commentary that's there, because I want to get people involved in it. And again, it'll all be up on alanlechusza.com. You can kind of check it out there. So what I'm going to do today is we're actually going to take a look at and talk about barrio. Yeah, we're gonna get back to the hood. If we're gonna start from grassroots, we might as well really start from the grassroots. Okay, so I'm gonna be looking at. I'll probably just talk about one, maybe two of the different selections, because I don't want this one to be too overlong. But it's a group that I came across. It's actually one guy. And I haven't found out his name yet, but I just kind of leave him how he is, and he goes under the name, Old Man Glasses On. It's the Lord Side Gangsta, and his work is just totally off the hook. I mean, it's nice. It's old school. It has that 90s, that turn of the century 90s, feel, late 1990s feel. You can see from the guy's tats. I mean, he's had some rough times. That boy's lived it. And I kind of want to, showcase him and his work. And so what I'm going to be doing on my Pontius article is talking about, what's the title I called it? I have it over here. I'll give you a tease for it. Oh, it's like the barrio Christian hip hop, Latine Christian hip hop, and it's talking about that. So it's a music from the hood, and where does it come from? Because the barrio, the hood, the ghetto, it's all the same thing, just with the different parameters and perspective with it. And in a lot of the reading and the work that I do, it's so funny because they talk about space and they talk about the triad, right, between the incarceration system, the school, the playground at the school, and then the home environment, which is the ghetto, the hood, or the barrio, in this case. And I realized I had not talked about that. I had not really gone into and done an analysis of, the barrio gangster culture, and then the Reformation and what comes out of it, from the personal testimony, the conviction, and the conversions that go on, because there's a lot of jailhouse conversions that happen, inside the Mexican, culture. And man, they're already religiously founded when they come into it, but then the cats that are in the G culture, the gangster culture, those boys are hard. Okay, and I grew up in a gangster environment, and I grew up in this hood. So me watching this stuff, man, it's like, oh, I'm going back home. As I said, we can start from the roots. This is really where I come from. You know, you're getting a load from here from this first episode because I'm showing you like all my cards. Like, you want to know where I grew up? Where this guy's at, where he's talking about, that's where I grew up. I mean, it was dumpster diving. It was working in the fields. It was like the city. They was so small. You had one thing. The car show that came into town with those guys, who invested all their money in their cars, literally. And the big car show that we would see, over the weekends or whatever when it would come up. That was like it. The county fair that happened. It was like the big epicenter for the month. It was like it. That was. I mean, there's. No, I'm surprised I came out of there without any tattoos on. I'm totally surprised. But I did my stint of gangbanging. I did my stint of tagging. Got my own record. Uh, well, CDs plus the other record that I'm talking about. But I mean, it's so when I came across this guy, and it was like as I was listening to some other stuff, and he came up, I was like, who is this? And it's so slick. And for me, it's like putting on a fuzzy blanket, on a good, like today it was really overcast and drab, and it was a little bit, dark and cool and everything like that. And it's like you just want to wrap up and just like be warm and cuddly, and just kind of, have your mom make you something really nice and just kind of like chill out and hang with the family for at least the morning, and then split and leave because you can't stand them anymore. But it has that kind of context and nature to it. So then we're going to check out at least one track, if not maybe a couple of them, because I want to explore and talk about this. But we're going to listen to the first one, which we got to start there. It's God Bless the Barrio, and check out this intro. Man, this thing is like cranking. How it comes up. Let me turn this down just a little bit, and we're going to get it going. See what I mean? It's the track is just so slick, and it just has every ounce of elegance. It's not rushed. It's really, you can tell that the guy is like done his, done his stint and done his time, and he's put in what has to be done, and so walking it through, and he just really like putting it all together, the language, the flow of it. What I really like about it, okay, if we're going to be breaking it down, talking about it culturally, just kind of looking at at what's happened with it, is that it really brings up the case and the point of what's like going on today. I mean, the video, when you watch the video, because I give you the link, and again, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll give you the link to the Substack so you can see all those that are there. Is that this is like pre controversies that have been going on in Los Angeles. Obviously, this cat's from LA, and you see the cars that are brought up. Everything is done like right there. He drops the hood, he drops the radio, the my English gets in the way, right? Even though I was bilingual, trilingual actually, but I was bilingual when I was growing up, So, and I lost my Spanish along the way, really bad. But it's all that's there, and you see it, and there's no makeup. This is like really who it is. And so, with what we have that's been happening inside of Los Angeles and across the country, with the immigration issue, and with the redistricting now that's going on, and and really the incarcerations that have been happening, the deportations, all these different things that have been happening, going on. This is all pre that, because this guy's been was recording between 2009 and 2011. That was kind of the latest that I saw of this stuff. No, I saw some that were in 2016, but that's not too long of a period, of time, but it's way before what we have that's been going on now. So it's even pre-pandemic by at least 4 years. So all of these issues that have been happening, uh, have this is all taking place way before that, and so you see then the elegance and the connection and the intent and the necessity of staying connected to your family, staying connected to where you are, staying connected to your roots. And so, for the people who don't get that kind of perspective and just really miss that, and just kind of lean only on the political angle of what's going on with it, what they're not seeing is that a lot of these cats, this is what they have. And the disenfranchisement, the marginalization, um, and then the incarceration cycle that's brought up, where you're going from the crib to the to the from the crib to the to the other, to the crypt, by way of the jail system. That ain't right. There's got to be something that's got to be done, in taking it and dealing with that. I know when I was working in one of my courses, we did a whole section on incarceration culture, and then where's the money that's going to really help with it. And there's places in like Australia and Canada, um, New Zealand, that are really big, in Europe and other places like that, where they've really had the model that's brought up and shown that, hey, if you invert the paradigm of, instead of investing money in incarceration, but you start investing the money in, not just in like reformation of what they're doing, or changing their ways, but giving them education, giving them jobs, and employment, getting them to do something that has a purpose and a place, rather than just feeding and saying, well, we're gonna rehabilitate you. You got to go into a rehab program, and then that's what's going to do it. It's like that only goes so far. And for certain people it works, but for the majority of the people, it's not really doing its job. But if you invert the process in the media, and you take the money for her rehabilitation, and you incorporate and expand that paradigm to include job, education, and placement programs that are going, setting them up in the leverage of where they're going to go, that becomes much more successful. And then your money is actually being stretched even further. And there's community partners that get kickbacks, because then they can get tax breaks on the fact that they would hire these different people with it, inside of it. So then the the cats that come out, the jail system, they have a place that they can go for work, and then they have a way that they can kind of expand and go into this. So I mean, all of those things are there, and so the fact that this guy saved himself, just by coming to Christ, and really taking up that model, and the fact that he's laid down this track, this is first of all, I mean, the first two words are God bless, you know and his hood and everything, and then he calls out all the people in all the multiple generations. He calls out the old cats. He says, we're never going to forget you. He calls out the he calls out the people that that are the broken, the junkies, the alcoholics. He calls out the single moms. He does all those different kinds of things, that are going on, and so it's a nice little work that he's putting together, and how the track is unfolding and plays it all out. So it's just, if we want to contextualize, especially with what's been happening with that, now I get it. There's those extreme cases and situations, where some of these guys are just like so far immersed and entrenched in it that it's going to be either way too difficult to get them to reform, or to change, or to have any kind of rehab. And in those cases, I understand, those specific with it. But by and large, if we're able to intercept it, and we're able to kind of see that triangle that I brought up even at the beginning, from the schoolyard, from the home, from the hood, to the school, and then it breaks down into the third one is the jail system. If we're able to kind of invert those, and notice that the connective fabric there is actually the hood, their home environment and context, that becomes very central. If we're able to kind of start there, then there's actually some ways to kind of clean the situation up. What's happening now is we're saying, okay, we're going to clean it up, or we're just going to throw all of you in jail. We're just going to and now we're going to, what's the new one in LA and in Washington? Well, it's in Washington DC, but it's going to show up in LA soon enough. And by way of migrating across the entire country, here comes the diaspora of incarceration again. Is that we're going to arrest the homeless people, we're going to throw them in jail, or fine them, and put them in jail until they can pay their fines. That makes no sense at all. Beggars prisons don't work. You can't arrest somebody and say, once you're able to be freed, once you're able to pay off your debt to society, well, you haven't done anything for them. And if you've given them a job, they're only making like 2 to 3 cents an hour, doing it. How long are they going to be in there? So what are you doing? You're wasting your money. You're not doing it the right way. You're not seeing what's happening with it. So if there's the homeless population and situation, it's a crisis. It needs to be directly affected. I understand that. But by saying in the new legislation that's coming up is that we're just going to arrest the homeless and then fine them, and put them in jail with all this, is like, that is not going to really solve the issue, because you're expanding, the sector of having the privatization of the incarceration system, which is, the industrial complex that it is. There's a reason I use that phrase, industrial complex, in lots of these different things, because it's following that same incarceration model. So if that's what the government wants, because they think that's where they're going to be able to start investing and getting some more of their monies that are going to be coming in, then I understand that. But then you should just call the political environment what it is that it's an autocratic colonialist system that's framed around an imperialist doctrine and discipline. Then just state what it is. It's no longer a democracy. It's an imperialistic, autocratic society. Just say that, with the classist structure and model that is glaringly hitting us in the face. That's why this track is so important and cool. Not only the fact that it's like slick and awesome, but it has that kind of elegance with it. So we're gonna hit just one other little tip before we get out of here, because I want to be wrapping it up soon. And this one is just Lordside Gangstas, and Lordsiders. And I skipped the little bit of the intro, just a slight little bit, because the intro's got some strange stuff with it. So we're gonna kind of break it in at the beginning of it, but you can kind of see and hear what's going on. It's the same cat, so check it out. And here we go. I'm telling you, he's got it all together. It's just, and I started at like the right spot with it because you can hear the intro's a little bit wonky when you get started with it. You're like, what is this? You know, 'cause I remember when I heard it, I was like, all right, this is going to be kind of strange. You know, it comes out of like it just comes out of left field, and then all of a sudden it's like this leg's in there. It's like this track is like totally bomb. You know, because he's wrapping up and he just articulates all the stuff that we were just talking about. You know, he brings it down to his personal testimony. He's talking about community. He talks about evangelism, and then he talks about the only thing that he's really missing that's inside of there is just scripture disciplined lyrics. But he does drop it along the way. So those are the four elements of Christian hip hop, by the way, if you didn't catch that. But he surmises all of the stuff we were just talking about in the previous little conversation about contextualizing barrio, Christian hip hop inside the context of the immigration and deportation issues that are going on today. He brings it all together, and it's just so nice to hear and to see what he's doing with it. And you're like saying, "Oh, I didn't catch any of that." Well, yeah, you did, because if you listen to what we were just talking about, with the issue that's happening now, especially because it has this whole racist integrity that's happening, and how he brings it up and says, look, dude, there's a way that you can actually change yourself up, and this is how you can do it. He's giving you the way and the leverage out of it, but he's saying it has to start with you and your faith and belief and trust in God and in the Lord. And by allowing yourself, and he even says there, I would open myself up for you. I would fast 7 days, for whatever it takes for you to be saved. He's sacrificing, giving himself. The guy really puts it out there. It's such a nice track. So listen to it again, because it's, and you can listen to the whole expanded thing, and check this all out, because I want to see, share, and really kind of get some things going with all this. So that's what I wanted to do for my first track for today. This one happened to be a video podcast, so kudos to you. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm going to drop all of the call to actions now, so you know what's going on. This is Alan Lechusza, Aquallo, and I am the managing editor at the Indigenous Hip Hop Business Association. And I'm an academic researcher and scholar, blood, sweat, and pray every single day. No track left unheard. You can go and check me out on alanlechusza.com. You can go and check out the Indigenous Hip Hop Business Association at ihhba.org. You can follow us on all social media. All the links are there on my site, alanlechusza.com, as well as on the IHHBA site. That's ihhba.org. There's ways that you can get involved and check out all the stuff that we have going on, our campaigns, our issues, and ways that we're helping us and have services and things that are set up for artists and businesses as well. So you can get involved with it. You can tag responsibly on our graffiti wall. It's pretty cool. Um, the other thing you can do is when you come to my website, you'll be able to kind of see some of the different things and stuff about me, and we're going to be seeing it expanding and growing, and I'm really taking advantage of all that and adding new stuff to it all the time. You can follow me on my own Substack that's here, alanchusa.substack.com. You can check us out on the YouTube channels, mine and the IHHBA. All the links are down in the notes. And for those of you who are checking out on YouTube and the other sections and stuff, just follow the link back to all this, and then you'll be able to get to it. But if you ever miss anything, you can just hit me up at alanlechusza.com, because all this stuff is internally linked to there. So,
I know you're ready. I know you're trained. I've been everything you wanna be.
see ya.